July 8th, 2010, LeBron James signs with the Miami Heat. Him and Chris Bosh ended up signing to team up with D-Wade over in Miami. And everyone thinking super team is crazy, about to dominate and run through the league. And they kind of did. They had 61 wins and went straight to the finals. But they lost to Dallas Mavericks because Dirk Nowitzki and the Mavs exposed something in the Heat and in LeBron James, took advantage of the weaknesses. So LeBron, knowing he played a big role in the finals collapse that the Heat had, knew something had to change. But he didn't really go into panic mode. He didn't try to fix everything at once. He didn't hire whole new trainers and learn a new, completely different game. Instead, he looked at the offseason and he specifically looked at what hurt him. He was like, man, what do I do? What's the one thing that if I mastered it would change everything, change my game up completely? He identified that his post game and his mindset were the weaknesses. Not his jump shot, not his hand, not anything else, but his post game and his mindset. He locked in on that all that summer. That was it. By next season, he was unstoppable. As you know, he went back-to-back champions, and rest is known. And that's the lesson. You don't get better working on everything. You identify what matters the most and attacking it with intention. And most players don't get better during the offseason because they don't have clear goals. You say, oh, I need to get better on my handles, but like what part of your handles? Are you saying you need to dribble faster? Is it your weak hand? Is it you can't keep the ball control under pressure? Is it changing pace to get past the defenders? You say I need to improve my shot and become a better sniper, but what part of it? Is it shooting out the move? Is it shooting out the dribble? Consistent shots? Is it the corner threes? Is it shooting when you get tired? The problem is that you have these broad goals instead of attacking a specific problem. So even if you do know what to work on, most players change directions every 2 weeks. It's a new workout. You got some new trainer. It's a whole new focus you want to work on. Nothing in your offseason is consistent. And then there's like the issue of how you actually train. Some players only practice when they got the perfect drills and there's no pressure. Or like they have the perfect gyms, the perfect shoes. It's not raining outside. It has to be 72 degrees exactly. Anything more, anything less, you're not training. But the game is not played in perfect conditions. There's always chaos. There's crazy decisions. There's two people when you thought it was just one. The floor's going to be a little bit slippery. The gym's going to be a little bit harder. The crowd's going to be against you. Can you play in these conditions? Another big issue during the offseason is players are playing games only. Like it's AAU, open runs, practice, and they play over and over without any intention of challenging their weaknesses and making sure that they're growing. But the real issue, like for you, is that you're playing, but you're not developing. The last mistake you can be making during the offseason is that you train each skill separately. So basketball is not about training isolated skills. It's how you connect each skill to each other and make the transition from practice to game matter the most. So the footwork is connected to your shooting, the handles connect to your reads, the finishing connects to how you make decisions. The game is about flow and connection, not about just these isolated skills and isolated actions. So how do you figure out what to actually focus on when you're trying to figure out how to train and how to develop your offseason and over the summer? The first step is to know your game. So you can break down doing a SWOT analysis, SWOT. You have to ask yourself these 4 questions. 1, what is your superpower? What is your strength? I call it superpower, but you can just call it your strength. What's the thing that you're great at? When your coach always puts you on the floor to do, what is that thing? When your teammates are always looking for you to, man, we need a shooter. We need to pass it to my girl, such and such. We know we need to get a stop right here. Hey, make sure we got this player right here for this position. Ask yourself, what is your weakness? What's the thing that makes you uncomfortable on the court? What's the thing that your coaching teammates always fuss at you for? And what shows up in the games that you struggle with? Like, you know that thing that you don't feel the most comfortable doing. You know your game almost better than anybody else do. Next, you got to ask yourself, what's coming that can help you? What are opportunities? Is it a new coach for the team? Is it players leaving? Is it a new system? Do you have a new trainer you're working with? These things are different opportunities that can open up for you in your game. Then you have to ask, what are things that are coming that could be a challenge for you next season? What are these possible threats? Is it new teammates? Is it a different role? These things could be threats to prepare for. So in one instance, new teammates could be a good thing because these players fit you better. And one thing could be it could be a hurtful thing because these teammates hurt you because you don't clash as well. So if you are a big who can't get their own shot, and opportunity is you got a point guard coming in or a scorer coming in who can give you good passes and help you in situations where all you have to do is grab and score, opportunity. But if that player is leaving, you got another guy coming in or another girl coming in who isn't as great at that, it's a threat. Analyze all this stuff to start to figure out how to develop and work on your game. So the first two parts, the strength and weaknesses, these are things about you that you can control. The second two things, the opportunities and threats, that external things outside of you, you can't control them, but you can prepare for them. So this is kind of how you think about how you prepare for the off season, how you develop and grow and train this summer. The second step is to figure out what more specifically you want to work on. So every player needs to develop in these three things. First off is the skill. We all know this is the shooting, the ball handling, the footwork, finishing, whatever it is. The second part is your body, whether it's you getting stronger, faster, your conditioning, just staying healthy. The third part is the mindset. It's not the sexy piece, but it's just as valuable. Is it your confidence? Is it your discipline, the IQ, mental toughness, whatever it is? All that needs to be trained in terms of your mindset. You need all three. You need to work on all of them, develop all of them. But one might be more important right now. So ask yourself, if I only got better at one thing this summer, if I only got better at one thing this offseason, what will make the biggest impact to me in my game? So maybe you're a great scorer, but you get So maybe you're a great scorer, but you get injured every season. So focus on your body and getting stronger and staying healthy. Maybe you're a great shooter, but you can't do anything else offensively, and focus on your skill. Maybe it's developing your handles, maybe focus on your mid-range shot, maybe it's working on your finishing. Maybe you're a great player until the last few minutes in the game, and then everything just kind of falls apart for you. Focusing on that mindset, your confidence and handling pressure. Step 3 is to pick the top 3 areas to focus on total. So write down everything you need to improve. Then pick the top 3 in each category. So write down the list of everything you need to work on skill, everything you need to work on for your body, everything you work on for your mindset. Now, take all that, put all that into one big list and rank them. And of that list of everything, take the top 3 of all that and work on that. So it might be one thing in skill, 2 things in body, and 1 thing in mind. You need to figure out how to cut that down and only focus on 3 of them as best as you can. It might be something else that paired, but for the most part, top 3. 1 to 3 things you really want to lock in on this summer and grow and get better at. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, I want to focus on these 7 things to focus on. And that's cool, but doing too much means you're getting distracted. So there's this thing called the 80-20 rule or the 80-20 principle. It's called, like, I think you pronounce it as the Pareto principle, but just call it the 80-20 rule. And that means 80% of your results will come from 20% of your work or the effort that you put into it. So in other words, there are tons of things you can work on, tons of things you can do to improve, but only a few things will really make a real difference. Focus on those few things and you'll get the biggest results. Don't put as much time and energy into the other things just right now. So the mindset should be to do less better and not more average. So you want to do less things and get them a lot better rather than doing a whole bunch more being average at all of them. Look at how LeBron was going back to he was in the finals. He could have worked on his jump shot, the handles, his footwork, his conditioning. He could have said, man, let me get my jump right, so they can't crowd the paint anymore. Let me work on my handles to get better and get these positions. Let me work on my condition so I can play a little bit longer, play better. But he identified something else. He was like, man, let me really lock in on the post game. Let me really lock in my mindset because I wasn't ready for all the pressure that came on with this season. I wasn't ready for the pressure that happened in the postseason and finals. He crumbled under pressure when lights were the brightest, and he fell apart. So he attacked his mindset. He knew he had to get more confident. He had to be more mentally tough. He had to learn how to handle pressure. And he attacked the body. He said, let me add more size and add more muscle. He got bigger and stronger. It was reported that he added about 15 to 25 pounds, and he played about anywhere between 265 to about 280. How much of that's true, we don't know, but that's what the news was around that time. And of course, for the skill he added to the post game, he saw that was the 20% of effort and attention to focus on that would get him the 80% return, and he locked in on that. So he saw all of that to be like, that's the weakness that showed up in the finals. This is the thing that will complement my current game, and this is the thing that would help the team the most. So by the next season rolled around, he wasn't just physically dominant, he was mentally locked in and pretty much unbreakable. And that's when he started winning championships, as you know, back-to-back champs. So that 80-20 rule shows up right there in LeBron in that action. So pick the 20% that matters the most, lock in completely, and just build from there. This third section is about how to train. And I'm going to break down what you train or how you train based on your age and your level. So if you're younger and you're like, before you start really playing really organized ball, really thinking more of like a little bit of rec ball, but more so like before middle school ball, you want to work on everything. Like, because you don't have a specific role, all of you are relatively the same. for the most part. So just get all the fundamentals down. Like, of course, ball handling, shooting, footwork, everything. As far as the weight room part, like your body, just get stronger, get faster. Like, you don't have to do anything crazy. Uh, Work on playing other sports too. Like, we love basketball. Basketball is not life in an instant. So play other sports so you can become an all-around athlete and not just a better basketball player. But if you, in my opinion, if you have to really lock in on certain mental things at this point, is knowing your identity, becoming more confident, get a little more disciplined, and just figure out the mental thing that you want to focus on the most and really lock in on that. Now, when you start playing middle school and high school ball, it's a little bit different. So coach now is putting you in roles, and that could help you and that could hurt you. Give you game and how you handle it. So train for two things at the same time. It sounds crazy. I know it kind of go against what I just said, but listen. Train for the short term to what you need to do to get minutes on your team right now, and that can help y'all win. And you also want to focus on the long term, develop the skills for your future. So you want to play college ball, you want to play at the next level, focus on that too. So make sure you work on the short term that builds to the long term. So for example, if you're tall, your coach might have you playing post and only what you playing post. But if you're 6'1" in middle school, don't overcommit and don't over dive into the post game. You want to add some, you want to get good at it, but don't lack in developing your other skills to make sure you become a well-rounded player. If you're in high school prepping for college, or you're in college, you have a very specific role right now. You want to train for that role, but also prepare for other opportunities that can come. For example, you're a shooter. You want to develop your handles so you can create your own shots for yourself, but also to be a good team player to handle some of the pressure that the point guard can get. If you're a 5 and you're a great defender, awesome, athletic, but you get pulled out in games because you can't score, work on the mid-range, work on some posts, work on some catch and shoot so that you can stay on the court. But like the details of what you work on will kind of determine the role that your coach has and what the offense is within that. So proceed with caution when it comes to that piece. But the key for all of this is not just training, is to make sure that you're training with intention. It's not enough to be like, coach, I'm working on my shooting. You need to go a little bit deeper. You have to ask yourself, what about my shooting isn't working? So is it my footwork when I shoot off the dribble? Am I creating space the right way? Is my dribble getting to my shot a little sloppy? Take each skill that you say you want to work on and break it down into smaller skills or micro skills and work on those. So like I said, if you want to get better with your shooting, is it off the dribble shooting? But what about off the dribble shooting? Is it my footwork? Am I not creating space? Am I getting sloppy into my shot? Is my dribble getting? Am I pick up on my dribble not there? So those are 3 micro skills under shooting, really more specifically shooting off the dribble, that can help you get better and grow your game. And this is called deliberate practice. It's training with a specific purpose and not just going through the motions and kind of just going crazy, not really doing anything intentionally. So draw out the 3 big skills and 3 micro skills under those 3 skills. So under your body, draw out the 3 things you want to work on, and then the 3 micro things under that thing. Your skills won't shine if your mind is not in the right spot and your mind's not sharp. So you have to develop these 2 things for your mental game. One is your basketball IQ, and second is your mental skills. So your basketball IQ, how you read the game. So as you watch a film, there's 3 different levels how you look at the game and 3 different things to analyze as you're watching film. So first is for your position and for your role. First is figure out, what does your position do? What does your role do? So if say you're the point guard and your role is kind of to be the facilitator and you run out of pick and roll offense. Well, watch film on pick and roll offense and see what the point guard does and facilitate in these things. If your role is to be the scorer and the primary ball handler, or just the shooter and scorer, and you do and you run a motion offense, or look up some motion offenses and figure out what does the scorer do in the motion offenses. So that's an easy way for you to figure out, based off your position and your role, what you look at, how you study when you watch a film. The second part is reads. So looking at what happens in different situations. What do you do when the defender blitzes versus in a drop versus in a hedge? How do you finish versus length versus how do you finish in like a rotation defense versus your primary opponent? These are all small like reads and situations you want to have in the game. So you're dribbling down, fast break, and these are situations that you see all the time. Try to find film on players who are similar to you, or find different things in that particular situation and environment, and see what you can learn from and do that too. The last piece is game film. This is really coming down to watching most, if not all, the game. You want to really figure out, to get a high IQ, time and score, the foul count, what are tendencies and patterns that you notice for different types of players. How do you handle the 2-for-1s? How do you handle starter quarters? How do you handle finish quarters? What are adjustments made throughout the game? What are different coverage that you see and they throw at you? These 3 levels of things really help you build your IQ and become a smarter player, where you can figure things out and you see the game a little bit differently. But doing that in the off season, perfect time, because trying to throw that in at the middle of the season kind of be kind of weird, and it's gonna be a new skill for you to work on. And so as you're watching film, don't just watch film externally, watch yourself, watch your own film. Compare yourself and what you're seeing to what you see others doing, and you kind of compare and contrast it. You look at your own film and be like, what could you have done better? So take time to see what you could have done differently. So you dribble down court, you made a bad read. Well, think about, pause it right there and see what other reads you could have made. See what other options you had. You went in and you finished and you got blocked. Well, see what other moves you could have made so you wouldn't have got blocked. Or see what other reads you could have had, and see if that keeps happening. Now you have multiple options to pull out in a specific read in a specific situation. And here's a little hack that you have. I don't know this to be like 100% true, but I feel like this is a safe bet that it is good. A small hack you have when watching film is to watch college basketball to understand team, how to get better as a team in those positions and everything. But then watch pros, the NBA and WNBA, to get better as a player. So you want to add specific skills or specific situations to figure out how to get better at. Watch the pros. But you want to figure out how to get better as a team, how to flow and work as a team, work against zones, work against traps, all these things. Watch college ball. Next is the mental skills. These are things that you work on to develop on the court, but more importantly, off the court, to become a better human being. So first is your identity, knowing who you are as a player, but more importantly, as a human being. Next is confidence. Confidence is trusting yourself and your abilities. Discipline is being consistent and intentional towards your goal, regardless of how you feel. Mental toughness. Mental toughness is staying focused on what matters when you're being challenged. And consistency is showing up the same way every single time. If you develop these mental skills along with your basketball IQ this summer, man, by the time the season hits mentally, you'll be a whole different player on a whole different level. So here's your basketball blueprint for the offseason, man. You analyze the game by using SWOT analysis. You pick 3 areas to work on under your skill, 3 things under your body, and 3 things under your mindset. You train with intention and consistency. Remember 80-20 rule, and remember deliberate practice. Develop your basketball IQ and develop your mental skills. Do this, man. Your improvements during the season will translate to the games at a whole different level. So next episode, we're going to get into how you actually structure and build out the layout for the offseason. But that's it, man. See you in this episode. Keep building.